you very much for the invitation. I'm going to explain a little bit the digital competence framework. The last version we have published this year in May 2017, just for you to explain you. Well, you can pass to the next slide. This one, okay. Well, we are from the German Research Center. The German Research Center, for those who don't know, belongs to the European Commission. It's the site which is making science in order to support policy decision. So we are 3,000 people around different sites in Europe, concretely in 5 member states, with headquarters in Brussels, and around 75% we are scientists, so doing research for policy making. In our case, we have a unit that is called Human Capital and Employment, in which we are doing research in education and skills, and we are based in Spain, in the south of Spain. You can pass the slide. I would like to explain first the challenges that explain why we have developed the digital competence framework and why digital competence is relevant today. So there is different data that are quite, we can highlight. For example, the 45% of the population has no low level of digital competence. And for example, in 17 out of the 28 member states, we have a higher percentage of this one. The 21% of EU population has no digital competence. We have also data from the OECD where we know that 60% of people use that the computer skills are not enough in order to find a new job. The 42% of the people with no digital competence are unemployed, so it's also a barrier to find a job. And the 40% of EU companies do not find appropriate candidates in the sense that they don't have transversal skills in which you can find digital competence. And there was a very recent study published in Belgium, so there are only data for Belgium, in which 25% of the workers are not saying that they are not ready for that transformation, and this percentage is a little bit higher for people that are older than 50 years old. You can find the slide. So in order to respond to this different challenge, the EU is trying to develop different kinds of policies in order to support the development of digital competence. So we have in 2006 the publication by the Council and the European Parliament of the key competence framework, in which digital competence is recognized as one of the 8 key competences for lifelong learning. Indeed, today is under revision. The key competence for lifelong learning, but in which still digital competence is one of the key competences. And it has also been digital competence as a key priority. So we have, for example, in April 2016, the publication of a communication on digitizing the industry, in which it has been recognized that digital competence is together with entrepreneurship and other skills and other transversal skills very relevant in order to give it to the population for them to address the digital revolution and the change in the labor market due to this digital revolution. So they ask in this communication also to the industry to address the need of development of digital competence, because nowadays there is some limitation by the education system addressing digital competence. 1 month after, in June 2016, there's publication of the new skill agenda in Europe, in which digital competence is also at the center, and they recognize the digital competence framework as a way of understanding develop digital competence in different member states. And also at the end of the year, in 2016, is the communication of pathways for adults, in which digital competence together with literacy and numeracy is says as relevant in order to people to address their participation in society and in the labor market. You can pass the slide. So I'm going to explain the digital competence framework. As I said, it was developed by the Joint Business Surveyors with located our team in Sevilla, and it has been funded by DG Development of the European Commission. You can pass the slide. Well, it's difficult for me to see it, but more or less, the digital competence is not only the definition to use ICT tools, but its competences include also knowledge, skills, and attitude. Can I pass the slide? Well, just a moment. I can see the presentation. Can you focus it a little bit, because for me it's a little bit difficult to read it, so to see something that is not in the slide.
Yeah, I can't focus the camera. The camera is automatic.
Okay. No, because it's a little bit difficult to follow my.
You are on slide 7.
Yeah. But I don't have my slide. Just a moment, please. So in that case, in this slide, I think it explains the relevance of the digital competence framework and why it was developed. So in order to obtain a definition of what is digital competence, about what is digital competence in terms of knowledge, skills, and attitude, and in order to have a definition that is scientifically accepted. So for what? Because at that time we have a different kind of initiative, but we don't have something which, like a common framework to which to refer. And we would like also to have the development of different tools for evaluation, for professional development, etc. You can put the slide. So we published for the first time in 2013 the Digital Competence Framework. We make an update of this version mostly for the two first dimensions about the key, the main areas and the competence 2016, and we made a last update that I'm going to explain today in 2017, or to took like 2 years to make this update, in which we include 8 proficiency levels and examples of tools. You can pass the slides. So just to explain a little bit, the framework is composed by 5 dimensions. So the first dimension is about competence areas of the framework, in which we have 5 competence areas. The second dimension is about the competences. So we have 21 competences that belong to these 5 competence areas. We don't have an even distribution, so we don't have like 4 per each, and we have competence, so it's not. But I'm going to show you each of these competence 4 areas. In dimension 3, we have the proficiency levels. Dimension 4 are examples of knowledge, skills, and attitude. And dimension 5, they are example of use in the field of education and employment. You can put the slide. So here you can see the 5 competence areas in which you have information and data literacy, communication and collaboration, and you have the problem solving, safety and creation of digital content, and there is this 21 competence. Next slide, please. And here you can see these 5 competence areas and these 21 competence, and each of them, so we have, for example, in information and data literacy, you can see that there is 3 competences that belong to browsing, evaluating, searching for information. I'm not going to explain them because we don't have time, but you can see them and have the explanation and the definitions of the description in the report. Next slide. So in 2017, in May, we published the version 2.1 of DigiComp, in which mostly the update of DigiComp in relation to the version 1.0 and 2.1 is to include health proficiency levels, an example of use, and we would like to include these proficiency levels in order to provide to the different stakeholders the information in order to support them to develop learning materials, to recognize academic progression, to develop assessment instruments, and to be able to describe the progress in the acquisition also of a digital competence. Next slide. So you can see here this is an extract of the first competence, 1.1. So it's 1 because it belongs to the competence area 1, and it's 0.1 because it's the first competence. And you can see here how it explained from level 1 to level 8. We have this progression. So we took each of the description and we were adapting according to the Bloom definition, to the Bloom taxonomy, different action verbs that explain the progression of the digital competence, and we include also different keywords that were inspired by the European Qualification Framework. I highlighted some of them, but they are most in relation with autonomy, with solution of problems, and to addressing like simple ways of task. Next slide. We try to make it understandable with a metaphor of this progression, taking the metaphor of swimmer, so learning to swim in a digital ocean. And there you can see how this progression of gate level is made with the combination between a level of autonomy, cognitive domain that is given by Bloom taxonomy, and with the complexity of task and solution problem. So you can see that, for example, in level 1, we have it can be applied to all the digital competence, and the person need to receive some kind of guide to make some kind of activities. They can do things at basic level, but with the help of somebody. When they pass to second level, they can do it sometime alone, but they still need to the help of somebody to develop the activities. And you can see the progression, where you can see also the different drawings in which the person increased the level of complexity in the cognitive domain, but also in the ability to do tasks, and they arrive to level 4 and 5, but they start to support others and to guide also others in doing an activity in relation to digital competence. and for the 7 and 8 level, they can create and to contribute to the knowledge in this in the field. Next slide, please. So we have also in DigiComp 2.1 example of use. We include example of use because it dimension 5, and also in order to support to make understandable the 8 levels, the 8 proficiency level. So there are example applied to education and employment sector, because it's where stakeholders need more help in order to develop and to apply the framework. And for the first competence, we made a full comic in order to also to make understandable this progression of acquisition of this competence. That is this case with browse and searching for information, digital content. Next slide. So apart from DigiComp 2.1, as I said, it is a framework. That is important to say. It is a descriptive framework in the sense that people, stakeholders, when they take it and apply it in a way it's better for the need they have. And we would like also to have this framework in order to support the development of other needs for the development of digital competence. So in this case, we have to start a piloting for the development of an assessment instrument for evaluating digital competence for people from foundation to intermediate level, so level 1 to 4 of DigiComp 2.1. So we have developed an item bank. We will develop an assessment instrument with 3 items that will be piloted in 3 member states, in Bulgaria, Latvia, and Germany, and we will test the reliability and validity of the instrument. It's a mix between self-assessment question in the sense that self-assessment asks you what you know, in the sense that they ask you, do you know how to use a computer? And you respond yes or no, and also knowledge based, in the sense that the questions are more in line. Can you say which are some name of the browsers? And the person needs to identify and to explain what is it, depending on the level that we are evaluating. Next slide. And we are also developing something very interesting for many of you, in the sense that we are developing a guide to apply DigiComp. As I said, DigiComp is descriptive, so there is like a whole, if we want to say it in some way, that the organization has to fill in order to adapt the digital competence to the need. So there is a framework that says what's the digital competence, which are the different digital competence, the areas, the proficiency levels. But an organization that can be a vision, that can be a ministry, that can be an NGO, need to apply it for professional development, for assisting their students, for developing learning materials for all the people. They need to make a work in order to adapt the framework to their needs. So, and sometimes it's difficult. So what we have done is that we are developing a guide based on different case studies in which we have analyzed of how different organizations that have already put in place DigiComp, how they have implemented in order to provide some kind of guidance to support all the stakeholders that decide to implement it, and it can be makers, education policy makers, etc. And we have also the development of this case study. This guide will be, so our data is to finish it by the end of this month, and to make it, to publish it during the first semester of next year. Next slide, please. I think it's also interesting for you to know that DigiComp has been used nowadays by the EU organization, and also by many member states. So DigiComp is the base for development of the task index by the Commission. It's also embedded in the Europass, where people can say the level of digital competence in a way to self-assessment according to the 5 competence area. And we have also more than 40 member states that are using DigiComp for different purposes, for reviewing curricula, for student self-assessment, to develop their own policies, for job seeking, for assessing job seekers and trying to match the needs of development of digital competence according to the job profile. And it's also being has been translated both 3 DigiComp 1.0, 2.0, and also 2.1 has been translated in Spanish and in different other languages. Next slide. So you can see here in this map all the implementation that there is nowadays of DigiComp into different countries. Next slide, please. Next, okay. So as a way of conclusion, I think that it's relevant to say that digital competence is not about use ICTs, because the problem is that we are using a lot of ICTs, but we don't have enough a level of digital competence. Remember the data I gave at the beginning: 45% of the population they have low or no digital skills. The competence is also about talking about knowledge, skills, and attitude. DigiComp is a common reference framework and is descriptive in the sense that it's not an obligation, it's not a standard, and is descriptive in the sense that it can be applied by any kind of organization according to their needs. For example, if we are talking about a proficiency level, but you would like to develop 6 and apply on proficiency level, is up to the organization to adapt it to their own needs. Being digital competence is something crucial for everyone. And there's a need to maintain and update this competence, and we don't need to have level 8 of this competence, depend on the needs we would like to have, depending on our labor need, our personal need, etc. Next slide. So all the information is available in this link, in this website. Next slide. And here you have my email account and also my Twitter account, my account, in case you would like to ask me questions or documentation about this topic, and my Twitter account does like to follow developments in the field. Thank you very much.